The simple thing is being able to recognize that you're lost or admitting it in a lot of situations. So if you wander off into the woods and you look around, like even look at and behind us, where's the trail? Right? How do you know which way you can get out? We like going and thinking that, it's right around the next tree, I'll recognize something, or the parking lot's in this direction, or something's gonna save me, I'll run into something familiar, and we keep pushing ourselves sometimes in the wrong direction. So being able to stop and look around and make a plan is one of the biggest things when it comes to any survival situation. And whether or not that's something more immediate, like going into a first aid style situation where somebody's injured and you need to treat them, how are you going to treat them? Are you just rushing in order to be able to be there for them, or are you rushing in with a plan in place in order to be able to start that next action? And so taking that breath, looking around, assess your situation, and then from there making a plan that's going to be effective, and then going through those steps. The other big thing, especially with the psychological part of first aid, is we kind of get down on ourselves, right? And all of a sudden you're walking a little bit longer, you're a little bit colder, a little bit hungrier than you want to be, and people get a little on the angry side. That normally turns us into against ourselves, right? The only reason why a lot of people don't make it out of the woods on their own is because they end up doing something that puts themselves at risk. Looking at, this TV show showed me that I can go rappelling with a vine, right? And so therefore, if I follow water or all those other myths that are out there, I'll get to civilization. They do something that's going to put them in harm's way. Or they end up deciding that they don't want to continue on because they're colder and hungrier than they are expecting to be. And so they do something, again, that's putting their life at risk. So being able to stop, assess the situation, and convince yourself that you are going to be able to get out of that situation. It doesn't matter how bad the situation is. If you decide that you're going to be able to make it, that's one of the biggest steps in it. We use that with military, stealing it from Navy SEALs training. So we set a goal. We visualize how we're going to achieve that goal, and then we have to positively talk ourselves through how we're going to achieve that goal. And then from there, the biggest thing that I always tell people in any stressful situation is breathe. Right? Especially when we're stressed, the first thing that we do is we start holding our breath. Well, what does that do? That deprives our oxygen to our brain, which makes it a lot harder to think, which spirals down into a negative situation. So if you can step back and observe the situation for a second and go, okay, how am I going to get out of here? All right. And then sometimes after that, you're like, right, I got my compass in my back pocket. I completely forgot about that for the last 2 hours. Or there's a map, or I'm starting to recognize that there is something that I can do, or that what I'm doing is not the best course of action. So now I'm going to change my tactics. Maybe, okay, it's getting dark. Maybe wandering around through the woods while it's dark is not the best situation. So let's get a fire going. All right. Especially something as simple as getting a fire going plays a huge part into the psychological aspect of any outdoor situation. Not only does it provide us that warmth and light that we like, but the other aspect to it as well is we're always willing to take care of something else more so than ourselves. All right, ask any parent out there and they'll probably say, I'm going to look after my kid and completely forget to put my gloves on while it's cold outside, or make sure my jacket's done up, or I brought lots of snacks for the kids, but I skipped lunch and breakfast and stuck with my coffee for that morning. All right, so we take care of something else. So if I get a fire going, that also means that I'm going to take care of that fire and continue feeding that and keeping that alive, and that gives me a purpose and a goal as well, and that sometimes helps me, especially if it's an overnight style situation.
Yeah.